Let's get some going with this LS1. So I was moving forward doing my plastic gauge on the main bearings. I'm gonna move to the rod bearings. And I figured if I want to put the pistons in the hole or the rods, I put the rods in there. So I might as well put the pistons on the rods, and I might as well put the rings on the pistons, right? So went stick the rings, these Molly rings, Mahal, I don't know how to spell this, or pronounce that, I should say. Too thick for the Summit Pro pistons. So had to pause while I ordered the Summit Pro LS piston rings. These were like 55, these were like 140. These better be damn good rings. Anyway, got the rods on the piston tops. These are floating style, how to do spiral locks and all that crap. If you've never done those before, good luck. But the rings came, good information. And then most of them will come with, if not the rings, the pistons. Something should come with this. These ones did not come with any information. I went online and looked on their website. I don't know, some kind of link off of Google. But went to their manufacturer or whatever and came up with, they give you the formula. Most of it's going to be, your bore times or whatever. So this thing will never see 15 pounds of boost. It's just a little street beater with the big pulley on there. He talks about pulling him down, but even if he pulls down, it ain't ever gonna be nothing crazy. So here's your formula. You do the math, come up with 0.233, 0.235. So went through the process, filing down the rings, make sure all my ring gap was right on all 8. And now we're going to put rings on it. Put some assembly lube in the bore, set my pistons in there. I'm gonna leave the rod caps dry, and then we'll do the plastic gauge process through the bottom with all the pistons in. Everything should plastic gauge fine, and then it'll be assembly lube and then torque down and we can move on. So that's what we got going on. Alrighty. As you see, pistons are in, all my rods, my rod bearings are within plastic gauge clearance at least. That's not an exact science to it. You just squish it and then gauge it, but everything was in on the 15. So I think that's about where you want to be. If it was down here at 0.001, you're really tight on your tolerances, and then if you're out here to 0.003, you're really loose. So 15's that like middle ground. And it's not an exact, it's a piece of plastic and a piece of paper. So are all of them dead nuts 15? Not likely. There's a give and take to it, but my air conditioning making some noises. Got the mellowing oil pump on, new timing sets put on. I thought we had ARP bolts for that, but we don't. So what I need to do now, let me get these heads reassembled, get my trunnion kit put in my rockers, and then we can get the heads put on. So I've previously cleaned these, just cleaned and scrubbed them with some solvent and soft brush, and that's all they're getting. So I just need to get my bench cleared off, then we'll get these assembled and get them ready to put on. Once these are on, that's my covers and it's ready to go back in. Not sure where I left off on this. Heads are on, everything's torqued down. Now we're gonna move on to the valve train, but I have yet to put in the trunnion upgrade. So if you didn't know, you should know. But if you didn't, but you should. But if you didn't, these are just little bullshit roller needle bearings in there. Fun fact, they look like that. But they are not contained in a race like this. So this is a slight upgrade to that. Normal street car type stuff like this is low boost, street driven. He's not racing it. This is plenty. Anything is better than this. Che or Chi or however you say it, it's got a better one that gets rid of the needle bearings. It's a bronze bushing. I think Tick Performance is the same style. I think BTR might actually have a style like that. This is like their lower end. May be wrong on that, but there's a couple different options that are better than this. But this is better than that. So you're low on money, whatever, you don't have a big budget, this will be fine. So basically what we got to do here is you got your rocker arm, and then this contraption here in the middle is called your trunnion. And the trunnion is in here rolling on those needle bearings. So what happens, I reckon, is this pressed cap right here distorts, lets the needle bearing wiggle out, and then you'll lose the needle bearings. You know, once one goes, they all go, and you start wiping shit out. So these are more of a contained unit, I guess, and this is a harder material. So this is supposed to keep that from happening. And there's your layout of what it's going to look like inside the rocker arm. Comes with instructions. Your trunnion. You don't need a tool to do this. You can do this with some sockets. It's just whatever, slightly easier with the tool. And there's multiple tools you can get to do this. So I'm not going to show you all, I don't know. I don't even know if I can record. I'll set the camera up or whatever. Maybe time lapse that. This is just monotonous. It's a pain in the ass, but something needs to be done. I'm doing it because when the cam was done, the shop charged the guy to put trunnions in and never did. So here we are. This is supposed to have trunnions in. Some shop got their money out of the dude and didn't give him the work that they charged him for, so he's having to do it again. So anyway, I'm gonna shut up and get to work on these, get them swapped out. All right, you've seen the time lapse. I got a phone call before I got done, so it turned off. But what I like to do is do the same thing all the way through. So all these had to come out, set up to get them out, get them all out at one time. There's whatever. Just keeps it a little bit more organized. But what I'm talking about, you see these are, can't do it one-handed. Can I do it? Can you do it? Okay. 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 Oh, see, there you have it. Like, I guess these get separated because they're just cheap ass. Can I bend it one hand? Not that strong. But anyway, something happens in here. Some room gets made. Your little needle bearings come out. And then that goes into your oiling system. And all your shit gets tore up. So these are one piece. And those needle bearings, you see, where's the camera at? So these are like transit caps or whatever. Those will come off. But once the new trunnions get onto the roller bearings, there's no room for the needle bearing to get out. Like, you see what I'm saying? It does not have the space to escape because it's pressed onto here. So I guess this is whatever. Still needle bearings, but they can't get out. And that's the issue. So, like I said, this is way better than this, but there's way better than this out there. That makes sense? So now I'm gonna go through the process of putting these together. So you see the layout, you'll have the trunnion piece, roller bearing on either side, and then a washer, excuse me, and 2 snap rings. And other than snap ring pliers, you don't need any tools other than your fixture here. I want to get a better one that goes in the arbor press, so it's just, you're not cranking and cranking, if that makes sense. You just press them down, press them in. This is a Summit brand. It's got the magnets supposed to stay on there, but you see sometimes the magnets just aren't strong enough. And sometimes you'll press on it and it'll, fucking do that. So, I'm gonna get to assembling these things. Yeah, I skipped a step or two. So, she back together. Got all the rockers in, got everything torqued down to sequence, straight out of the book, So top dead center, do certain ones, spin it 360 degrees, torque down the other ones, spin it 360 degrees, and you're done. So all that's good. Passenger side valve cover has baffles in it that won't clear the trunnions. So this is getting a catch can anyway, which yours should have a catch can on it anyway. Any LS should have a catch can on it. Anyway, had to clearance the baffles, which I broke the plastic and then cut the aluminum that houses the plastic baffles. I just got rid of them. And now the valve cover is set down. So oil pan's on, torque down. I got my little dabbles of silicone on the 4 corners. Water pump is on, your water pump gaskets. So yeah, she's ready to go on the cradle, I mean, I got a couple of things. I need to stick the motor mounts on, and whatever. But that's what I'm about to do. We're gonna get this thing on the cradle, get all the drive line put together. So need to get the front cradle set, get the torque tube put on the rear cradle, transmission back there. And then we do have, what's in that box down there, still closed, but the East Coast Supercharger transmission brace, which will, goes from the side of the diff to the front of the transmission and stiffens all this up here. So we'll put that on when we get to, because it bolts through into the torque tube. So once the torque tube's on, then we can put the brace on. Yeah, let's get in some action today. I'm supposed to be working on that, but kind of just want to get this shit done. It's taking up too much room over here. And I got something else coming in today, tomorrow, I don't know. So it'd be nice to have this off the lift and I can do everything else over here on the ground. So that's what we're gonna do.